Welcome to Forgotten Video Store, the podcast that was mistakenly left off of Time Magazine's list of 100 best podcasts because of some sort of clerical error, I assume. I'm David Murto. I'm your host. You know I'm a real cinephile because I have one of those Criterion Channel Charter subscriber commemorative steel membership cards. On this show, I like to talk about movies that aren't available to stream anywhere and movies that the listener has never seen. And my guest this time is an animator and children's book author illustrator who has created some of my favorite children's books. Harley Scroggins is here!
Yay!
Harley, if you were on Jeopardy and Ken came over to you and asked you to say something about yourself, what would your response be?
Well, I am a person who was once struck in the face by a flying fish while on a boat.
What?
Yep.
Did it hurt?
Yeah, I felt like someone punched me and my glasses flew off.
Never to be found again?
No, we found it on the ship.
And did the fish escape?
Yes. Well, I mean, technically it escaped the ocean and then
that's true.
hit me in the face, and then I found it on deck, and the crew member who was walking by had me kiss it on the mouth and for good luck, and we threw it back into the ocean.
And how has your luck turned out?
So good. It's been great ever since.
I can only hope that'll happen to me someday. This is a movie podcast, so what kind of movies are you into? You're an animator, so I assume you're into animated movies.
Oh yeah, I really love stop motion movies.
Mm-hmm.
I went to school for stop motion specifically. And
cool.
I told everyone I'm never touching a computer, and now all my work is done in After Effects.
Right.
So,
What are some good stop motion? I like Fantastic Mr. Fox. I thought that was really cool. Leica, right?
yeah, Leica's good. I love Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
pretty,
really
it's pretty
fun
basic, but it has my heart. But then I also have always really loved the older like Rankin Bass.
Sure, yeah.
Stop motion, like Mad Monster Party, Rudolph, Year Without a Santa Claus.
Awesome. But the movie you picked out today is a science fiction movie.
Yes, I am a big fan of sci-fi. Blade Runner is one of my favorites.
Yeah, Blade Runner's great. Did you ever see Forbidden Planet?
Yes.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Is
That's
it
a good
Robbie the
one.
Robot in that? He's
Yeah, Anne Francis.
cool.
That's a
Like
good
we
one.
learned about in the song, Anne
Yes.
Francis in Forbidden Planet.
Yeah, I have to actually go back to the song to remember, oh yeah, that was Anne Francis.
So the movie you picked out today was called SS Galileo. It's from 1969, directed by Jack Arnold, who directed Creature from the Black Lagoon and The Incredible Shrinking Man. Really cool movies. And it stars Fred McMurray, who we'll remember from The Apartment and Double Indemnity. He's a little older now. This was like when he was on My Three Sons,
Right.
that TV show. And also stars Barbara Hershey, who was like 20 years old in
Yeah,
this, so super
so
young. So why'd you pick out SS Galileo?
Well, just from reading the description, it kind of reminded me of that Ray Bradbury story, Fire Balloons. Have you
I don't
heard
know
it?
that one.
It's I think it's either Martian Chronicles or The Illustrated Man. And these like priests go to Mars, and the Martians are these balls of fire, and they try to convert them to Christianity and don't succeed.
Oh, wow. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Gotta read that.
And I was like, well, this sounds interesting. I wonder if it's a remake. Totally different.
Okay.
Completely different vibes.
So, let's get into it a little bit. The movie's SS Galileo, and our heroes are aboard the titular SS Galileo, and they have a big portrait of Galileo, the astronomer dude, and so like they pay tribute to him with the name of the ship, because we learn like, oh, he discovered the great moons of Jupiter, and that's where their mission is taking them, but they don't know all the details of the mission yet. And so we meet our hero, played by Fred McMurray. He's like the captain. He's like a no-nonsense. They're kind of like a military, like kind of like the Navy, basically. In fact, the spaceship kind of looks like a submarine.
Yeah. It was kind of an interesting model. I really liked the miniature.
Mm-hmm,
It was
like
kind of
floating
janky,
through,
but...
Yeah, and the interiors, they maybe even just filmed on a decommissioned submarine, because it looks like they're on board a submarine. And then we meet a character named, was it Marla?
Marla, yeah.
The chimpanzee?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of their crew members is chimpanzee. Kind of makes sense. The space program is closely tied with the ape kingdom. Yeah. So Marla speaks in sign language. The only other person on the crew who speaks sign language is Barbara Hershey's character. So I think her entire job is just to translate for Marla the chimpanzee.
Yeah, they didn't really give her a whole lot else to do.
It's like a combo performance.
Yeah.
You know, like, did you see The Shape of Water?
Yes.
At the Oscars when they did Sally Hawkins, incredible in that movie. But like her clip at the Oscars was like her doing sign language and Richard Jenkins like translating for her. And I'm like, Richard Jenkins is doing a lot of heavy lifting in this scene. But it's kind of like that, where it's cool to have the monkey, but like Barbara Hershey, great actor, is kind of emoting for the monkey.
Yeah. I think my favorite character, aside from the monkey, or chimpanzee, I'm so sorry, was the older kind of professor guy who played him again.
Oh, Ernest Borgnine.
Yeah. I have to wonder if this was written into the character or if he was just over it, if he was actually drunk on set, because he kind of reminded me of that commercial with Orson Welles.
Oh, the wine.
Yeah. The French champagne. He was very like
slurred his speech. Yeah, he was a fun character. Yeah, it's not clear if it was supposed to be that way because they don't really show him drinking during the movie.
Yeah,
but his behavior would suggest he has been. So they're getting close to the moon Io, which is one of the moons of Jupiter. Then it's time for Fred McMurray to unseal their orders from Space Command. So he unseals it, and it's like a reel of like 8mm film that they're still using in the far off future, I guess. And they hook that up to the projector, and then they get a little information about their mission. And we learn that a previous spaceship by the name of SS Zeus had gone, and they were checking out the moon of Io. They were supposed to colonize it, but they went missing, were never heard from. So the Galileo, our heroes, their mission is to investigate and find any survivors if they exist.
Yeah, I also really liked the music. Was kind of a vibe. Had a lot of brassy horns and theremin, but the bagpipes were a choice.
The brass stuff was cool because it was like reflective of like the military culture of the crew of the SS Galileo. But the bagpipes was a little more wild once you meet some of the other characters, which you do quickly enough when our heroes, you see the sub, we're approaching the moon Io, and it's like, raise the periscope. They're using a periscope in space, I guess.
Yeah.
And so they spot it, and it's real fun moment when you see the giant Jupiter in the background and then this little moon, and they're closing in, and they do the process shots with the submarine ship on wires and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, and we quickly learned that this moon Io is just lousy with volcanoes. It's like the whole thing's covered in volcanoes, and like as they come in for the landing, there's a big explosion and they have to swerve out of the way. It's a real fun sequence, and then they crash right into the side of one of the volcanoes, and then the ooze is coming down and they have to abandon ship real quick.
The floor is definitely lava. Marla does a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of getting, off the ship to the ruins.
Yeah, she's the cool head under a crisis.
Yeah.
And you have Barbara Hershey saying, "We need everyone abandon post. Get out of the ship."
Yeah, I thought it was really funny when they were running from the ship crash, like escaping lava, and Marla is like shouting out commands, but then you have to wait for Barbara Hershey's character to then translate those commands.
An extra level of attention, and all the crew is just like standing still,
Yeah.
eagerly waiting for the command to make it through the process of translation.
Yeah, very
But it's
patient.
cool, and that's really, I think they did like rear projection of they had wonderful footage of volcanoes, and they're kind of like, you see like mountain ranges of volcanoes, so like a bunch of volcanoes all stacked up, and they're constantly going. And I think this is true of the actual, I'm sure they exaggerated it somewhat for the movie, but it's the most volcanically active body in our solar system is this moon. So they're trying to track down this other ship, the SS Zeus, and they had the last known coordinates, and they go and they find it, and it's there, but there's no bodies. It looks like when the Zeus came down, they had a perfectly clean landing. They were all fine, but everyone's just gone.
Yeah, so the ship SS Zeus still has all the supplies and stuff. There's just no people. So they kind of camp out.
Right, and then
In the
you
ship.
hear Ernest Borgnine's character going, and everyone seems to understand exactly what he said, and they're like, "You're right. It has all the same controls. We'll know what to do
It's almost
to escape."
He needed his own interpreter.
Right, that would have been
along
helpful.
with Marla the monkey.
Yeah, so they're camped out in the SS Zeus.
And it's very clearly the same set
right.
as the Galileo, but the lighting is bluer. Like it was more red on the Galileo, but it's the same set.
Right, and instead of a big portrait of Galileo, they have a big portrait of Zeus throwing his lightning around.
Yeah.
Real cool.
I mean, I don't know what their budget was, but they were very smart with their budget.
They had enough money for 2 paintings.
Yeah.
They're all having trouble sleeping because they're like, oh, I always have trouble sleeping in a new place.
Yeah.
The first night. And they're getting into that a little bit, and the monkey's kind of tossing and turning. But they hear a ruckus outside. And they're like, is that a volcano? That doesn't sound like a volcano to me. What could it be? They open up the hatch and they go out. It's a beautiful sight. And so what they see is these different shapes. And we were reading a little bit about how they did it afterwards, is they filled balloons with different colored smoke. And so they would pop the balloons and shine a bright flashlight onto those shapes, and they would film it in slow motion, and then they could manipulate the film so it would go backwards and forwards. And so these figures you see, they look like different sort of swirling mists, brightly lit, that kind of contract and expand when they speak, and they're all kind of different colors. And they shift around. So our heroes are like, oh, what is this? Is this a storm? And these things are like, hey, welcome to Io. And you're like, oh, is there a weird alien in there? In that cloud? Nope. The alien is the cloud.
Dun, dun, dun.
This planet is this moon is so weird that is like evolution went in a completely different direction than it did on Earth. These are the kind of creatures that can survive in a volcanic climate.
Just sounded super chill.
That's right, yeah. They seem like pretty cool guys.
Yeah. The cloud is talking. Everyone's kind of stunned, but not the captain. He marches forward. He's was it Fred McMurray?
Right.
His character. He like adjusts his giant aviator glasses.
Yeah, those were cool.
So cool. I mean, they were all the fashion. And he walks right up to that cloud and he goes, you listen here, mister. I got a bone to pick with you. Where is the crew of the SS Zeus? Do you have them hostage? What's going on? He's like really aggressive, like right out the gate. All this guy, he's a chill dude. He's a military man. Yeah, he's a military man. But this chill dude said welcome. And he's like, you listen here, bucko.
And the cloud thing is like, oh yeah, they're around here somewhere. Yeah, let me try to find them for you. And you're like, oh, this is odd.
Yeah.
I was thinking, when we met all these characters, I thought this was going to be like almost like a Starship Troopers thing, that they were going to meet some sort of detestable monsters on the planet Io and have to fight them. But like you said, these guys are just super chill. Yeah. And they're very welcoming onto their planet. I mean, moon.
Yeah, so far, really, the only conflict was smashing into a volcano. But other than that, there's been zero conflict this whole movie.
So the clouds disappear for a while, and our heroes are kind of touching base with themselves. And it's like, Fred McMurray's character is like, we can't trust the Cloudies.
Really weird nickname.
Already, like right off the bat, comes up with a nickname for us. Can't trust the Cloudies. They know where the crew is. They're hiding something from us. You gotta be watching your back. If I give this signal and it's pushing his aviators back up on his nose with 3 fingers, and he's like, if I give this signal, it means it's time to launch the assault. And so they all have like their machine guns and stuff, and so they're ready for action. The chimpanzee starts doing the sign language, and Barbara Hershey says, Dr. Marla says we should hear them out.
Oh, that made the captain so mad.
He doesn't like to be questioned.
Yeah. The older professor guy, he comes up and he's like, hey, listen.
Yeah, he talks some sense to him.
Yeah.
Gets the situation under control. Pretty soon the clouds come back, and Fred McMurray, you can see him like adjusting his sidearm and everything. Oh, he's a man of violence, it seems. And the clouds are like, well, we looked all over. We couldn't really find. You can cut. Why don't you come with us? We'll show you where we. They're probably around here somewhere. Come on. And Fred McMurray starts. He does a huddle with his crew and is like, "This is a trap, 100%."
And the clouds are like, "Oh, we can hear you."
But Fred McMurray is like, "Okay, take us to where you say they are." But they're all like packing their machine guns and stuff. And he says to his crews like, be constantly on the lookout. Don't trust the cloudies. But then Dr. Marla starts making conversation with one of the cloudies as they're going through the interpretive skill of Barbara Hershey's character. It's like, what are you guys? And they explain, life evolved on the moon Io to take the form of pure energy. So basically we're pure energy and we can kind of morph and shift ourselves, and we like to, hang out and have a good time. And Dr. Marla is like, this is fascinating.
They start leading them to their civilization. They're going towards an active volcano, and the captain is like, what are you doing? You're taking us to an active volcano. We're humans. You can't do this to us. Like, are you trying to kill us? They're like, oh, hey, whoa, hey. It's all right, man. We're going left. And then they kind of veer off to the left of the volcano, and there's this cavern that goes underground.
Yeah. And then they start going down there, and it's like an ancient city that has you see basically a river of lava going through it, and there's a water mill on it, but it's powered by lava, which is real fun. And so it's pretty hot down there, but you see all manner of different clouds kind of shifting through, all shapes, sizes, and colors. And you see the little ones sneaking around and playing tag, and Dr. Marla is like, and Barbara Hershey says, oh, are those the children? And the one cloudy is like, oh, yeah, they're only 6,000 years old. And you're like, oh, so these are long-lived beings, I guess.
The old ones.
We get to learn a little bit more about their culture, mostly through Dr. Marla's interrogation. She's the curious scientist. And so we learn, oh, if you're so long-lived and ancient and you float around and stuff, why haven't you explored the solar system? Why haven't you ever visited us on Earth? And the cloudies are like, we're not really into that kind of stuff. We just, hang loose, have a good time. Oh, and they learn about their government a little bit. It's
oh, right, yeah.
Because Dr. Marla says, me want banana. Barbara Hershey's like, oh, I think she wants to see the head banana, the leader of the cloudies. And Marla said, no, me want banana. And so they feed her a banana, but at this point they are curious, oh, who's your leader? And then we learn a little bit about their government. It's they don't have elected leaders or anything. It's they all kind of get together, come up with different ideas, and they form a mega cloud. It's whoever wants this way, go this way. Whoever wants that way, go that. And then they kind of can play out both scenarios in a quantum realm of sorts, where they're doing everything all at once, and whichever seems to benefit the most of the cloud people the best, the others can shift their reality into that realm. So we're getting into some pretty heady and confusing ideas.
Yeah, at this point, I'm looking at the runtime. I'm thinking, how are we going to unpack all of this in one movie? But it's interesting, too. They do a lot of communicating through Marla. So there's that extra step of translating what Dr. Marla, of course, is saying. Half the dialogue of any normal movie, but they have to double it to translate for Dr. Marla. So they spend a long time just going back and forth with the chimpanzee.
But that's fun because you get a lot of footage of that chimpanzee doing different things, searching for lice and stuff. And playing around. And then Barbara Hershey acting, which you can't get enough of that.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And you also get the soundtrack. Like we were saying, the brass and military sound of the first part of the movie has now shifted into bagpipes once we meet the Cloudies. I don't know if they love bagpipe music because it's probably non-diegetic music, but that's how the composer chose to portray their culture, was with bagpipes.
Yeah. incessant.
Sometimes it drowns out the dialogue.
Yeah.
It's a little hard to tell what's going on.
And that's why it's so helpful that, they have to translate so much, because then you kind of get the dialogue twice.
Mm-hmm.
So what you miss with the bagpipes, you get from Marla, and vice versa.
So then this one Cloudy that we've been hearing a lot from, who's like blue in color, comes in and is like, you know what? We found those guys you were looking for. And they're like, all right, this is real. And Fred McMurray gets the crew together, and it's like,
He's like, they better be alive.
Yeah. And it's like, we're busting them out. As soon as we see them, we grab them, we escape this underground kingdom or whatever. And the blue one goes, yep, so here they are. Come on out, guys. And what approaches but a bunch of the Cloudy shapes. It's just more Cloudies. And Fred McMurray is like, you can't trick us that easy. We can tell that those aren't human beings. But the Cloudies are like, oh, no. They transitioned into our type of pure energy. We took the energies out of their bodies and they became like us.
They've ascended.
Right, so this really pisses off Fred McMurray's character. He's like, you killed them, and you're gonna kill us, and this kind of stuff, wielding his weapon. And they're like, and the Cloudies are like, no, man, they asked us to do it. The crew, the Galileo, doesn't really believe it, so they sit down and they talk around the dinner table.
Yeah, the dinner looked really weird. It was like some kind of, I guess it was charcoal, but it was supposed to be the volcanic rock itself, and I guess they get like the nutrients from all the carbon or something, I don't even know. It was just like crumbling in their mouths.
Yeah, and so the human character's like, we can't eat this. And the Cloudies are like, oh, man, I forgot humans don't eat volcanic rock. Egg on my face. So they start talking. They're like, don't believe that they're really the crew of the Zeus. But then they start telling them stuff that only humans would know.
Who's the president of the United States of America?
Eisenhower the Third.
Whoa. They know. If you're really humans, or used to be humans, what color is the sky on Earth? They're like, oh, depends on the time of day.
And then they do this cool thing where they start shifting.
Yeah,
and
that
they
was
give
really
you
cool.
like sort of they can change colors apparently, and they give you like a sunrise and then a bright day and then a sunset, and they're like, it's kind of like that, I think.
It kind of looked like they had done a time lapse of like the day going by and then superimposed it onto like a cloud tank or something. It was a really neat effect.
It's beautiful, and
Yeah.
this is very moving for some of the crew of the Galileo.
Yeah, they haven't seen the sky in
Probably a few months.
Yeah, so they haven't seen the sky in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a little piece of home.
It's interesting that much of the movie takes place in this underground city, because it probably would have been prohibitively difficult to film more scenes like on the surface of Io with like Jupiter floating around in the background. It looks awesome, but you can tell it probably was like super hard to film all that. So that once they get underground, you're in like a sound stage.
Yeah, and I noticed on the surface of Io, it looked like almost like Vasquez rocks, but like they couldn't get to the really obvious part of it, so they used kind of the lower side of Vasquez rocks, if that makes sense.
Not the Star Trek section,
Yeah.
but like this other part that you guys
Like
do.
almost cool, but not as cool as
But then
rock features.
what sets it apart is like the rear projection stuff where they had like all the volcanoes like added in and make it look real atmospheric. So at the dinner, after they do the time lapse of the sky, the Cloudy's like, oh, not to be a drag, but we gotta bounce. We're doing, and what's their sport they do?
It was like lava surfing, but they called it something LORP.
Yeah, LORP.
LORP.
They're like, we gotta go LORP. Dr. Marlowe's like, I gotta see this. And so they're like, okay, see ya. And Fred McMurray's kind of huffing and puffing. He doesn't want to do this anymore. So he's like, go ahead. I'm staying here. And Marla and some of the tertiary characters go and watch the LORPing. And it is, like you said, it's like surfing on lava. And the clouds are kind of like dipping into the lava a little bit. And they all kind of are running into each other. And the clouds can like pass through each other kind of. And that seems to make them happy. They're like sharing kind of the consciousness of each other as they sort of pass through. And this is like, makes them happy. It's like hanging with your friends, but times a million.
Yeah. Yeah, and the professor guy is watching this, and he's like, oh, well, I want to throw my hat in the ring. I'd love to LORP. And he like jumps in to start LARPing, but he's a human.
Right.
And he like gets scalded by the lava.
Right, yeah, he gets third-degree burns right quick.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, maybe he's got to ascend, and, we can save him if he ascends and becomes one of us.
And yeah, some of the other characters like, we can become like you. Seems like your lives are really awesome. And they're like, yeah, it's pretty great being a cloud. You just hang loose all day. Yeah, yeah, you can become like us. Yeah, we'll ascend you guys.
Then you can LARP all you want.
Yeah, and we'll chill and eat volcanic rocks.
I mean, that's what happened to the crew of the SS Zeus, I guess.
Yeah, didn't take long for them to be convinced.
Yeah.
Then Fred McMurray gathers his command crew and is like, they're trying to infect our minds with their sinister ways. They're trying to lure us in like they did the crew of the Zeus, but we're going to stay strong. And at this point, it's reminding me of Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah.
Remember that? It's like the whole time they're trying not to become like the pod people, but then as soon as they become the pod people, they're like, actually, this is way better.
Yeah.
And you should just join us. It's also, did you watch the Star Trek movies?
I haven't, but I know of them.
Okay, so in the fifth one, which is like notoriously like the worst one or whatever, but I'd argue it's still really good, except for the last 20 minutes or so. But like there's a thing, it's a similar type of thing where it's like, oh, this guy is brainwashing everyone to join his horde or whatever. But like everyone he does it to, they're like, oh, this is great, you should do it too. And basically it feels like a metaphor for going to therapy, because he's like, put all your like the stuff that's been bothering you, it's like you address it, you move past it. Like that's his philosophy. But anyway, my point is, it feels like one of these things. Oh, did you see Sinners recently?
No, I really want to.
You should see Sinners. It's so
it.
good. But there's a really good scene where the creatures in that movie are trying to convince like some of their former friends. It's like, actually, this is so much better.
Yeah.
So it's one of these things. It's like once the people ascend and become these cloud figures, they're like, oh, this is great. You got to do it. This is awesome. And then our heroes of the movie are like trying to resist and not get turned.
Yeah, but then they see the professor, because like he's dying.
Yeah,
he's
there's no
he's all
saving
burned
him.
up. So he turns and he's like, "Oh, this is wonderful! I'm having the time of my life as a cloud." Marla is starting to kind of think, "Hey, Barbara Hershey, we could become clouds too."
They've been training in the Space Command for years, and they've taken an oath to do their duty and follow orders from Earth. Their orders clearly state that they need to locate the crew of the Zeus and then bring them home.
Aside from what happened with the professor, we need to figure out how to get the crew as clouds onto our ship. Like or onto the Zeus, because the Galileo is crashed. But if they can get the Zeus off the planet or the moon with the crew, even though they're clouds, but then they wonder, like, if we take off, will they just phase through the back?
Yeah. So they've been trying to convince the crew of the Zeus to leave. They don't want to go, basically. So none of these cloudies have ever left Io. And they're like, according to them, like, maybe some people have tried it, but as soon as they got like so high in the atmosphere without the gravitational pull of Jupiter and Io itself, they kind of dissipated and turned into a trillion little pieces and never to be seen again. So they're worried that'll happen to them. Fred McMurray, the captain, they're not going to go of their own volition. We'll take them by force.
Yeah.
So you get the sequence of him and his loyal soldiers like gearing up and drawing up the attack plans. Dr. Marla is saying we should listen to them. They know more about this cloud thing than we do. Like, we would be killing the whole crew of the Zeus. And Fred McMurray is like, they're as good as dead already.
Yeah.
And that's when he says, so why don't you just shut up and follow my orders, fuzz face?
Oof.
And everyone kind of draws a breath. He's like, this is like a slur against chimpanzees, basically. Marla just turns and walks out and goes back to hang out with the clouds.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then they tried to do this like weird side plot where Marla kind of struck up a romance with one of the clouds.
Yeah.
But it didn't really go anywhere. Like, it felt like an afterthought.
Because that was whenever Barbara Hershey was like off doing something else.
Yeah.
They would start getting and she would like kind of make the big puppy eyes at the cloud, and the cloud would like move a little closer. And like the bagpipe music got real romantic. Like, like kind of like that.
Yeah, like that. And it like the cloud like started to turn kind of banana yellow.
Ooh, yeah, something that it knows that Dr. Marla likes.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't consummate their relationship
No.
in any sense.
After Dr. Marla stormed off, I think is that when they kind of realize, oh shoot, one of these active volcanoes is going to erupt, and it's right in the line of fire of the SS Zeus.
Oh yeah, so they have no way of getting off
Right.
the moon if they don't settle this whole situation before the volcano erupts. And like the tactical guy is like, according to my calculations, it's gonna erupt in 45 minutes.
So now it's a race for time. They need to get the crew of the Zeus, whether they'll dissipate or not, and find Marla, who's stormed off, and get to the ship. Otherwise, they're stranded.
Yeah, so Fred McMurray's like, Barbara Hershey's character, you need to track down Dr. Marla now. Bring her back. She goes out looking. Dr. Marla! Dr. Marla! And what should come up but a floating cloud?
That's right.
Marla? You too? What? I can't. I made an oath to the United States Space Command. That's true. The one loyalty I have that's higher than my loyalty of duty is my loyalty to you, my best friend.
That's when we find out they grew up together as schoolgirls.
Yep, because there's that brief flashback
Right, yeah.
where they're both in the uniforms with the little skirts.
Eating bananas on the swings.
And everyone was teasing Marla and saying that bad name that the captain called her.
Yeah,
And Barbara Hershey's character was the only one who ever stood up for her and shared bananas with her.
yeah.
So that's real emotional. And then Dr. Marla, who's now a cloud, shows Barbara Hershey back into the back area and is like, it's time for you to ascend too, to join us. And you can chill out on Io. And then I'm thinking, a lot of these movies are like, science fiction movies are like a metaphor for what's going on in the world. And it's like, I'm thinking late 60s, the crew of the Galileo is like the military establishment, right? And the cloud people are like the counterculture of the 60s, right?
Hippies and surfers.
Yeah. So I'm like, this is cool. And it's like you can leave behind your violent ways and like join the movement of.
Yeah, it's like, hey, do some mushrooms and then or LSD, open
yeah,
your mind.
expand your mind. Yeah,
become a cloud.
Back with the captain, they're drawing up the attack planes and they're like, we gotta go. And so they bust out and they're like, oh, the crew of the Zeus is over here and there.
They were tie-dyeing the crew's old uniforms, I guess, to put them on display or something. Like
Like hang them up in
banners.
the walls. Yeah, just for some atmosphere.
Yeah.
The captain and the crew, they go in and they're like guns blazing and some of the other clouds are like, whoa, man, just take her easy. And the captain like starts opening fire and his loyal soldiers do as well. And I don't know exactly what they were expecting, but basically if you shoot a cloud, like there's nothing really for it to hit. So it just kind of goes right through them.
Yeah, there was definitely a little accidental friendly fire. Someone shot a cloud. Someone else was behind it. The Wilhelm scream.
Yeah. And you're expecting, are the clouds going to like fight back? And they really don't need to. And they don't. And they're like, hey, chill out, man. Hey, slow your roll. And they all kind of have different one-liners as they're getting hit with hey, peace, dude.
And the scene, it went on way too long before the soldiers realized their bullets weren't doing anything to the clouds. Like, I feel like you shoot
This is all they know, though.
Yeah,
it's
I guess. But
this is where their problem-solving begins and ends with firearms.
It just kind of felt like they were trying to fill some time. It's just kind of how it felt.
It was cool though. Like it looked cool when like the bullet would whip and you see like the kind of swirl.
Yeah, that was really cool.
It was cool, but we did see it like 90 to 100 times and would have been the same effect if we had seen it like 3 times.
Yeah.
But then the volcano blows up and the magma is coming down. Fred McMurray's like, I've never seen an adversary that fought back with peace and chill vibes. And it makes him kind of rethink his whole career.
Yeah. And I think that's when the former captain of the SS Zeus comes over and he's like, hey, man, I was where you were once. I felt the same way when I first got here, but look at me now. I'm expanded. I am the universe, and you can be too.
This brings a tear to the Captain Fred McMurray's eye. Starts crying, sniffles, and the Zeus captain like hands him the tie-dyed uniform. It's like, here you go, buddy. Blows his nose on it. It's real emotional.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, man, you ready? And he's like, I'm ready. And he turns to his crew. He goes, anyone who wants to leave Io, go back to Earth, that's fine. I'm staying here. I'm going to join the Cloudies. Yeah, so like half of them are like, stick with the captain. Half of them start running back to the Zeus, and they get it powered up, and like the propeller starts spinning and stuff, and they're going to take off. And then the captain and the others, they're like, hey, come back here, man. We'll show you to the Ascension Chamber. And they go. And this part was real freaky because you see like a lot of what look to be dead bodies like kind of sucked dry.
Yeah, like mummified. Really creepy.
Yeah, so you're like, oh, so maybe they are just killing everyone. And so the clouds all gather around, and it looks like a big hookah. Fred McMurray's like, oh, how do I do that? And they're like, take a big puff, man. And he's like this? And he's like, yeah, man, hit that. And he puts the piece in his mouth, and he inhales deeply. And when he exhales, it's like the big cloud of colored smoke comes out of him, and his body like kind of shrinks and retracts until he looks like one of those mummy figures, and there's nothing left. And then the cloud is floating around.
I thought this was really silly. Like, all these clouds were all one's people, and his was the only one that retained his glasses, his big old aviator glasses.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
That was a little far-fetched, but I think it helped keep track of like which one was the captain.
I guess.
But so yeah, the other characters started hitting this hookah, and they're all becoming different clouds and like morphing into each other and stuff, and passing through and having a great time. And
it was really creepy seeing their husks kind of land on the body or on the pile of other husks.
Yeah.
And like Marla's in there and Barbara Hershey's character, and it's like, oh, that was kind of creepy to me.
Right, and it's presented as if it's like a triumphant moment, but basically you're seeing like a growing pile of dead bodies.
Yeah.
So then we cut, and we're aboard the spaceship, the SS Zeus, and you see like one of the hardliners who was like real gung-ho about killing all the clouds. He's on board, and he's like, there's one thing we gotta do. And he goes to the torpedo command and like turns the keys and whatever, and he's gonna drop the bomb on Io and blow up the whole moon. But then you hear, hey, cool it with that, man.
Yeah, I like how it kind of leaves it ambiguous. Like, were they actually chilled guys on a planet and, oh, join us if you want to, it's cool? Or, like, are they trying to go back to Earth and
right,
take over?
because that guy is going to be, there's one of them aboard.
Yeah.
And he's going to end up on Earth.
Yeah.
Pretty soon we're all going to be clouds. But it could be awesome.
I kind of want to be a cloud.
And then on the soundtrack, you hear stormy weather.
Played on the bagpipes.
Beautiful.
So haunting.
Awesome. Yeah, some really creative effects in this movie.
Yeah, a lot of cloud tank, a lot of matte paintings. Really
Interesting ideas about how we could try to strive for a chill culture like that.
Yeah, and did you notice a couple of the times the captain, and I think a couple other like background characters, they said EO instead of IO, and they just never addressed, like,
Right.
it's like they read the script and they were like, didn't know how to pronounce it.
It's like Billy D. Williams saying Han in Empire Strikes Back.
They're like, oh, we'll just keep it in, it's fine.
Great pick. I really
thanks,
enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, I had a blast. Did Marla do anything else after this? Do you
Yeah,
know?
she was in Love Story, remember?
Oh,
With
that
Ryan
was
O'Neal?
Marla.
Yeah,
Of course.
Okay, to end things out, I like to do something around here. It's called Plugs and Rants. So anything you want to promote or rant about, either one of those ways you can go, or both. You can do that. And I have a rant this time.
Ooh.
And it's that I renounce modern chocolate treats.
Oh, interesting.
Specifically like corporate treats like Hershey, Nestle, Reese's, Snickers. Like I renounce them and I'm done with them. They've been getting worse for years and they thought we wouldn't notice, but it's painfully obvious. They have like lower and lower cocoa content. I think like according to like regulations, like in Canada, they wouldn't even be able to call it chocolate because the cocoa content is so low. But it's like, it sucks now. And I'm only going to get chocolate from like Trader Joe's treats or something like that. That's like, I've had it with these Hershey's and Reese's and stuff. They don't taste good anymore.
I'm with you.
Thank you.
Don't tell Barbara Hershey. She might.
The heir to the Hershey fortune.
Yeah.
Do you have any plugs and
That's
rants?
a good one. I do. I have a plug for sure. For the past 10 years, this last December was the 10th one. I've made with my friend Anthony Angelini. We've made a stop motion Christmas special every year. It's starring Santa and Twinkles.
You got
and
Santa?
a goat. Yeah, I got Santa himself.
Mm-hmm.
To be in these specials, and they're on my YouTube channel, Harley Animation. That's my plug. Is that I
and this also is in book form. I have a book.
Oh yes, there is a book of it that isn't yet fully for the public. I just have made some copies to, but they will be online probably this year because I did the 10th special last year, and that's also kind of my rant is that no one watches them. So.
I'll watch that. See, I didn't realize you had I don't know why I didn't realize this, but I didn't realize you had a YouTube station. You should check that out. Yeah. Harley Animation, which is a wonderful portmanteau of your name and the word animation.
That's right.
Harley, thanks so much for coming over and for renting this movie with me. It was a lot of fun.
I had a great time.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Forgotten Video Store. Please subscribe, rate, review, tell your friends, all that jazz. I'll be back in a week to discuss a movie about a simple-minded Southern man who inadvertently affects major American historical events from the early 90s to the 2020s. It's as sweet as a box of chocolates. Intro and outro music is Funky Energy Loop by Kevin MacLeod, Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0. Okay, bye!